Hello, BookTube. This is Peg at the History Shelf. Well, I'm coming to you tonight to do my October TBR wrap-up. As you know, about a month ago we did a October TBR and I had a huge pyramid of books. I'm going to show you the ones I did finish and also the one I'm still working on, but I should have finished soon. So let's just jump right in, shall we? I'm going to start with the Victober wrap-up, which is Thomas Carlyle's Sargeras Artists. And I may have mentioned somewhere else that, as you can see, I have not finished this book, and there is a reason. Sometimes when I start one of these classic literature things, there's always a huge introduction that explains the book, and I don't like to read introductions before I've read the fiction, because obviously I don't want any spoilers. I like to come to the work on my own and see how I feel about it before I read someone else's interpretation of it. However, I should have done that with this book, Sargeras Artists, the retailored. So this is pretty dense and slightly confusing reading. But there's a bigger reason behind the writing style, and I think I need to study a bit more about Thomas Carlyle. He had a huge influence on the period, and once I realized I needed to spend a lot more time with this book, I couldn't just rush it. I mean, I'm still going to keep reading this, and I will give you a full rundown once I'm done. But this, you can only read a few pages at a time to really absorb and think about what's happening. I did peek in at the introduction to try to see what is going on with this book. And apparently it was very important back in the day. And they even had a quote here from George Eliot, who said about the work, "For there is hardly a superior or active mind of this generation that has not been modified by Carlyle's writings. The character of his influence is best seen in the fact that many of the men who have the least agreement with his opinions are those to whom the reading of Sargeras Artists was an epoch in the history of their minds." And she wrote that in 1855. So apparently this is, you know, quite extraordinary, and I really want to give it the time that it deserves. So sorry guys, I wasn't able to give you a full rundown on this title, but I'm well into it, and I'm going to keep working through it. So just know that this is still in progress, and I'm going to give it the time that it deserves. Okay, and let's see. I have finished The Will of the People. I've already there's a review of this up at Open Letters Review, and I can leave a link below. This was a really great book. Again, I've talked about it before on this channel, so I won't, you know, repeat myself, but it shows the power of local politics and how it can really just sustain an effort, a nation, a cause, and how powerful the local committees, you know, can be. So I guess it's a good reminder to all of us that it's important to vote in your local elections, because that's where it all starts. You know, it's not just voting for senators and presidents. You really have to look at the people who are running for local committees, people who are in charge of the safety and welfare of their communities. It matters. This book really brings this out. I really enjoyed this book by T.H. Breen, The Will of the People, The Revolutionary Birth of America. So this was a great read for October. Again, I have a full review at Open Letters Review. I finished Shatter the Nations. I mentioned that in the other video I did. ISIS and the War for the Caliphate by Mike Giglio. I'm working on another review for this for Open Letters, and it was just a searing account of this journalist's 6 years in Turkey, in Syria, being embedded with various Kurdish forces who were just uniting with elements of different tribes that They were all enemies at one point, but they all came together to fight against ISIS, and it's just fascinating. It's a fascinating insight, and it's also heartbreaking because the amount of death, senseless destruction, senseless death of very innocent people. It's not easy. It's not easy to read, but it's important to know that this is going on, and it's important for us to know what's happening over in Syria and in the Middle East. You know, ignorance is not an excuse. We need to know. So I'm working on a review for this book. All right, and I just tore through this book on my day off today. Finished Raven Black by Anne Cleves. I was completely surprised who the killer was, so I love it. I love it when I can be surprised. I had a couple of guesses. I thought I was like, oh, I'm so smart. I figured this one out. No, I did not. I did not. So it was really well done. I'm probably going to read the next book in the series with Detective Jimmy Perez. Set in Shetland. I've never been there. It'll be interesting. It sounds very beautiful. And yeah, Raven Black by Anne Cleves. I give this 5 stars. So I'll finish that. And just let you know, I am well through, halfway through Midnight in America, Darkness, Sleep, and Dreams During the Civil War by Jonathan White. And I'm loving it. I plan on writing a review for this for my blog, my book blog, History Shelf book blog. Just because I love these little independent titles, university press titles that are just have these kind of spotlight topics that you just don't see in like mainstream, you know, releases. This is so niche, you know. I love it. It's very enjoyable, and I will give a full review on this channel once I'm done as well. So that's where I'm at with the October wrap-up. This will be a fairly quick video. Going to move on to my nonfiction November list, which is quite daunting, but I will be starting all of them in the next day or so. But anyway, guys, if you have any comments or any thoughts on these books, let me know. I'm happy to let you know where I'm at with the, you know, these new books that I'm, you know, thinking of checking out. But in the meantime, thanks for all the new subscribers. Thanks for just tuning in, and I hope you guys have a great night. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye.